In 1949, Mao Zedong stood triumphantly and proclaimed the creation of the People's Republic of China. But even as he celebrated, the Chinese Civil War was far from over. The Kuomintang forces, led by Kai-shek, had retreated to the island of Taiwan, and by 1951, Mao's Communist Party controlled all of mainland China and the island of Hainan. But this leaves a big question. Why didn't Mao invade Taiwan? The first reason was simple. Mao needed to secure his hold on mainland China. His People's Liberation Army, PLA, outnumbered the Kuomintang forces nearly 3-1. But there was a catch. The PLA lacked two critical elements, a navy and a modern air force. Meanwhile, the Kuomintang had a fleet of American fighters, bombers, and warships, giving them a massive advantage over the PLA's limited resources. Despite these challenges, Mao prepared for an invasion. The PLA focused on the Quemoy Islands, a key stronghold of the Kuomintang. But the invasion was, to put it mildly, a disaster. The losses forced Mao to rethink his strategy. His next plan? Overwhelm Taiwan with sheer numbers by buying transport ships and launching a massive attack. However, this plan was scrapped, partly because it was, frankly, ridiculous, and partly because of one major fear: U.S. intervention. Mao was right to be worried. The United States made it clear that any attack on Taiwan would mean war. President Truman even sent the U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet to patrol the Taiwan Strait, creating an impenetrable barrier between China and Taiwan. Then, in 1950, the Korean War broke out, forcing Mao to redirect his focus. Chinese and American forces clashed on the battlefield, and President Truman doubled down on his commitment to defend non-communist governments in the region, including Taiwan. By 1953, the Korean War ended, and Mao turned his attention back to Taiwan. In 1954, he ordered the shelling of the Quemoy Islands. Taiwan responded with force, and tensions quickly escalated. The U.S. took immediate action. President Truman sent reinforcements to Taiwan. Congress passed legislation to protect the island, and Truman issued a chilling threat: nuclear war. Facing the possibility of annihilation, Mao backed down. But this nuclear threat taught him one thing: China needed its own atomic weapons to stand up to the United States. While China developed its nuclear program, Mao couldn't resist one last attempt. In 1958, he ordered another round of shelling on the Quemoy Islands. This time, hundreds died, and tensions peaked. President Eisenhower responded with a bold threat: an invasion of mainland China. Mao, unwilling to risk full-scale war, stood down. This marked the last serious attempt by China to seize Taiwan by force. By the time of Mao's death in 1976, his successors adopted a policy of peaceful reunification. So, why didn't Mao conquer Taiwan? The answer is simple: he couldn't. The U.S. Navy's dominance, the threat of nuclear retaliation, and the immense cost in lives and resources made the conquest impossible. Mao's priority was to secure his revolutionary government, and Taiwan wasn't worth the price. Thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating history stories. And a special thanks to our Patreon supporters. You make these videos possible.